guys, welcome back to my channel. Backdrop. If you like it, if you think it's kind of clean and you would like to see more of the motivation, inspirational videos in front of this backdrop so you know what to click on, let me know. Okay, so today I want to talk about reconciliation and how to handle missing somebody from your past. Life is a journey. Life ebbs and flows like the river. We all know this. We've all heard, some people are supposed to be in our life for seasons. Some people are supposed to be in our lives for chapters. Stuff our parents always told us whenever we would have a falling out with a friend, or things that we've learned when we're in relationships and we realize that the relationship is just not going to work out. So we learn that some people, they come into our lives to teach us things. They're not going to be there for the entire journey, maybe just a portion of the journey to help us learn something so that we stay on the correct path. So what happens when a little bit of time goes by and you see the person, or you see the person on social media, or if you have a bigger circle, you might see them somewhere else online. You might see their number in your phone. There are endless ways that you can be reminded of a person's existence, right? So what happens when that does happen and you start to think about all the good times that you had with that person? Depending on your mindset, depending on how you rationalize things, the more time that goes by, you might start to forget the negative parts of the relationship and just remember the happy parts, because that's what you wanted to hold on to. So a couple months, maybe even years have gone by, and you start to think, was that person so bad? Was our relationship that bad? Was everything really as bad as I made it at the time? And you can start doubting yourself and your decision and that person's decision to separate. So how I handle this, because it's something that I dealt with for a couple of days last week. I was thinking about reaching out to an old friend to see if they wanted to have lunch, even though we kind of had a falling out. And there are a lot of layers that you may have to analyze when it comes to yourself and your reasoning. I ultimately decided not to contact the person, and I had to make sure, first and foremost, this was not because of pride, because pride should never stop you from doing anything. Ego should never stop you from doing anything. So I had to make sure that my reasoning was not because I was scared of not getting a response, or because of, being offended if I didn't get a response, or if she decided not to meet up. So after I worked through that, I was like, okay, so I'm not necessarily afraid of her not responding. If she chooses not to, that's fine. It's not an issue. But is this still something I want to do? And I thought about it. I talked to my partner, and he was actually like, take a couple of days before you contact her, because once you contact someone, you can't take that back. And I thought for a very long time about growth. I thought about how every single day, depending on how you live your life, you can grow exponentially all the time. And sometimes, even when we miss someone, they might have fit in a certain chapter of our lives. But when you're in a new chapter, that person may not necessarily fit, especially if it's a person who has exited your life before. Of course, we're not psychic. Of course, we can't say, hey, I don't know how that person and I will get along right now unless I go for it. That is one way to think about it. But the conclusion that I came to was that I don't have to live a life that's forced. I don't have to make anything happen that won't happen on its own. So ultimately, I came to the decision to not contact the person, and to send them all my good thoughts, and to send them all my good energy, and to actually sit back and take some time to think about all of the good times me and that person had. And when I consciously did that, telling myself, you don't have to do this to miss them. You could do this to feel happy that you had good times with a person, because that's a blessing in itself. Any happy experience we have with any person, no matter how that relationship ends up, is a blessing. So I took some time to think about all the good times that I had with that person. And then I told myself, whatever's meant to be will be. I don't have to place any pressure on myself to reach out. I don't have to place any type of expectations on that person to reach out. I can just let the universe do its work, and in the meantime just appreciate the past time that I've had with that person. I feel like this approach will work very well with friendships, but will also work very, very well with romantic relationships, because I feel like romantic relationships a lot of the times can be the ones where we forget the bad and just remember, not necessarily the bad, but where we forget what made us distance ourselves from that person, and we just remember all of the good times. And sometimes we have to cut ourselves some slack. We have to, trust our past self. Even if we don't necessarily remember why we made the reason or why we made the decision in the first place, we have to just place a little bit of trust on ourselves and in the universe and let it work itself out. If something is meant to be, it'll be. If a person's meant to come back into your life, they will. And if they're not, they're not. But there's nothing that you have to do to force that. So yes, that is all I have to say. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that it helped somebody who may be struggling with the decision to reach out to someone and, reconcile. Of course, there are always exceptions. There are always reasons why you might justify reaching out to someone. I don't know the whole story behind what anyone's going through, so this video may not apply to you, but I feel like it applies to a lot of people, so I do hope that it helped, somebody out there. Thank you so much for watching my video today. I really do appreciate it, and I will see you guys on Monday. Oh, and don't forget to comment, rate, and subscribe. I'm so bad at asking for that, but yeah. Give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you'd like to see more videos, all of that good stuff. Okay, for real now. Bye.